and on and off since 2013, and these are my most recommended Japanese reality TV shows and why you should watch them. If you're looking for just like a pure good time, Sekkai no Hate Made Itte. In this show, this like cast of comedians who are all super funny, by the way. This is Imoto, I love her. And this is Degawa, and like probably the funniest person alive. I'm going to put my favorite clip of Itte in here.
Sorry, question. Do you know moon? Okay?
Yeah.
Moon は月。ここはNo, no, no, 笑うところじゃない。No, no, no, 笑うところじゃない。
So basically on Itte, what they do is they go around the world and experience different cultures. What I recently watched is that they went to Texas and they tried to do bull riding and pig wrestling and then like a chicken mimicking contest. It was like a cock-a-doodle-doo situation going on and they're like, America no bunka da. Yeah, The Boyfriend. I love this show. いや、マジで良かった。マジで面白かったです。なんか日本でも話題になってたんだけど、このキャストがマジで最高だった。ザ・ボーイフレンドがこのメンバーじゃなかったらザ・ボーイフレンドにならなかったわけ。はい、個人的に私は現世推しです。大好き。Next up on our list, Terrace House. I have only watched the Hawaiian one, though I'm gonna recommend the Hawaiian one. I feel like Terrace House is like the Friends of Japanese learners. You know how all these K-pop idols and famous people say that they learned English from Friends? 私たち日本語を勉強している方はテラハを通じて日本語を話せるようになったわけ。It's just the best example of like regular everyday Japanese. Do I think Terrace House is interesting? No, not really. Do I think it's fun? No, not really. Nothing happens. Everyone is polite and nice to each other, and then they cry when they leave. A deep cut. You guys might super famous talk show host, and she also does have another talk show called Matsuko no Shiranai Sekai. But I came to Japan for the first time in 2013. I used to watch her show Getsuyo Kara Yoru Fukashi all the time on TV. It's like a little bit more adult, a little more silly, fun, spicy, and I love that. She's so funny. That's just a quick start, but what is your favorite Japanese reality TV show? Feel free to leave it in the comments. 勉強頑張ろうね。
アビさん、はい、アビーと申します。よろしくお願いいたします。東京のバスの運転士のポジションを応募した方では間違いありませんでしょうか。ではここに書いてある文章を読んでいただければと思いますけれども、はい、こちらの文章ですかね。はい、そうです。じゃあ読みますね。まもなく渋谷に到着します。そうですね。もう少し分かりづらく言ってもらえます？はい、わかりました。はい。まもなく渋谷に到着します。そうですね。なんて言えばいいんですかね。ぼやけてるような感じで、眠そうな感じで、なんかすんごい集中しないと絶対理解できないような声で喋ったらいいかもしれないですね。はい。絶対誰もわからないように。はい、もう誰も聞き取れないように、はい、特に年寄りの方は、あと外国人の方は絶対わからないようにいてもらえるかと思います。そうですか。はい、わかりました。じゃあもう一度やってみます。はい。まもなく渋谷に到着します。どうですか？ブラボー、ブラボー、素敵なパフォーマンスどうもありがとうございました。今後ともよろしくお願いいたします。
So, I live in Japan, and one time on a date, I almost got kidnapped and sold into indentured slavery. No, like, seriously, it's 100% true. Way back in 2018, I matched with this ridiculously good-looking guy on Japanese Tinder. Let's call him Ren, because that sounds like it would be a host name. So we're chatting for a little bit on the app, and Ren goes, これ、ホストなんだけど、それでも大丈夫? I, knowing absolutely nothing, thinking we're not going to judge somebody because of their occupation at 20 years old, say, oh, what an interesting job you'd have. I would love to hear more about that. What I did not know is that it's actually a thing for Japanese hosts to use Tinder as like a marketing PR scheme and just swipe right on everyone and see who sticks. This is how they get their clientele. So Ridiculously Hot Ren and I are talking, and he asks if I can meet up on this February so-and-so date on their very specific Saturday, literally 2 months from now. And obviously, I'm free. Like, I don't even know if the planet is still gonna exist 2 months from now. At this point, you're probably thinking, Abby, shouldn't this have been a red flag to you? But hold your judgment and just listen for a second. Japanese people are so busy. When you want to hang out, it's not just a let's hang out later thing. You have to formally make a reservation and send a Google Calendar invite 3 weeks in advance if you want to see your friends. That is normal here. So no, this did not raise any specific concerns. Anyway, 2 months go by and I have completely forgotten that Ren exists. We have not talked at all in 2 months. I was fully dressed to go out to dinner with a different friend from college when she suddenly calls me up and tells me that she's sick and she cannot go. Yes, she decided to tell me this less than an hour before we were supposed to meet up, and I was already ready. At this exact moment, as if on cue, I get a text from Ren saying, "Are we still on for tonight?" Yeah, you bet we are. So Ren and I meet up in Shinjuku at 7 p.m. and he takes me to a very not first date like fast food chain restaurant where the classiest thing on the menu is microwave hot dogs. Not exactly the date I pictured myself going on with incredibly hot Ren, but we don't judge. I'm chatting with Ren and I'm like, I'm really surprised that you wanted to hang out tonight because I would assume that Saturdays would be like the busiest nights for hosts, so I would think that you would be working tonight. And he goes, I am. Oh. You are? You are? And Ren says, yeah, I start work at 7:30. I work at a club right over there. Let me just get this straight. This man invited me on a date at 7 p.m. when he starts work at 7:30. This is odd. A quick look at the clock shows that it's 7:29 and I'm like, don't you need to go? And Ren says, いや、もう遅れてるからしょうがない。大丈夫. Okay, I say and go back to nibbling on my microwave hot dog. But Ren starts looking real distressed. He's rubbing his eyes, he's groaning, he's like, and I'm like, what's wrong? And he says, もう遅れてるからしょうがないけど、罰金がきついんだよね. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? 罰金? Ren goes on to explain to me that at his club, there's a rule for rookies that if you are late to work, $300 will be deducted from your salary. My question is just like, if you knew that this punishment fee existed, then why did you try to go on a date at 7 p.m. when you had work at 7:30? Like, the timeline isn't timelining. Ren is starting to smell real fishy. Then Ren, this wonderful smart man that he is, says he has an amazing idea. I should go with him. If I accompany him to the club, then it will be considered that he was with a customer and the fee will be waived. This is just all a little too convenient. I'm just like, ooh, you know, not really my scene, not really a big club girl, but thank you for the invite, but no, I will be staying here. But he keeps going on about how it's super fun, all sorts of different people go there, you'll really like it, and I'll be doing him a huge favor by coming because he'd be more than happy to pay for my first hour, which only costs $30, versus what would have cost him $300 for the late fee. And I, as a pathological people pleaser and a total pushover, say, okay, fine. I guess I can go for a couple of minutes. At this point in time, he is way too happy. This man practically jumps out of his seat and is like, great, fantastic, perfect. I'm gonna go and call my boss and let him know that you're coming. Why? But no, he doesn't do the phone call in front of me. No, he goes upstairs and locks himself in the bathroom and then does the phone call. And I am so not liking the situation. Like, this is fishy as hell. There are alarms in my head going off like crazy left and right, and I decide I need to text my Japanese friend. I tell her everything that's going on, and she says, Abby, run. At this moment, I hear the bathroom door opening. I start to hear footsteps down the stairs, and I'm like, I gotta get out of here. I grab my jacket, I grab my scarf, I try to get my umbrella out of the table, and we're doing one of these, trying to yank it out. I'm like, no, I can't take it. You're not coming with me. And I book out of the restaurant into the pouring rain in the middle of February. I half jog down the street, wind back a couple alleyways, block Ren's number on everything, and then jump into a clothing store and hide there for about 30 minutes. Later, when I finally got the opportunity to talk to my Japanese friend, she explained to me that a lot of host clubs are owned by the Yakuza, and what some of the more shady places will do is they'll bring girls in, drug or sedate them, rack their bill up like crazy so that when they wake up, they have a bill that they cannot possibly pay, and then pull a classic, you have to work for us now. This is not your average Ouran High School Host Club anime. Like, this is scary shit. It's hilarious to talk about now, but actually kind of horrifying to think what would have happened if I hadn't decided to leave at that moment. So many influencers and animes talk about host clubs like they're this cool, fun, quirky Japan thing, but in reality, they can be so dangerous. So watch out for all the Rens out there, and maybe take going to a host club off your Japan bucket list.